Let us first of all summarize our previous session. In previous session, we have discussed about history of machine tool, how machine tool is evolved day by day, and nowadays we are having fully automatic machine tools also. Then we have discussed about what are the preliminary requirements to begin machine tool design. And now we are starting with today's topic. This many topics we will be covering today. First is classes of motion in machine tool, then machine tool drives, transfer ratio, and general requirement of machine tool design.
Excuse me, sir.
1 minute. So now the classes of motions in machine tool. The form of surface produced in machine tool depends mainly on two things. In the shape, the product shape, that depends on mainly two things. One is shape of cutting tool itself, means the cutting tool which is removing material from workpiece. Geometry of cutting tool is important, and the second is relative path of motion between cutter and workpiece. Now drives are related to this second portion, this cutter and workpiece, right? So this motion can be obtained either by motion of workpiece, the cutting tool, or by combined motion of both workpiece as well as cutting tool to obtain relative path between workpiece and cutter. So classification of motion in machine tool, mainly it is classified into three motions. One is generatrix. Now what is generatrix motion? Motion which is required for cutting of material, that is what called as a generatrix. Second is directrix motion. So motion required to extend the cutting process over surface or curve, that is what called as a directrix. So, and the third one, that is auxiliary motion, which do not participate in formation of surface but necessary to make working motions to fulfill their assigned tasks. Tasks like clamping, unclamping of workpiece, repositioning of cutting tool, changing speed and feed, engaging, disengaging working motions, indexing of cutting tool. So these are the auxiliary motions which are actually not participating in forming the shape of product, but they are still required for proper functioning of any machine tool. Yeah. So these are the auxiliary motion. If I correlate these all three motions with the basic classification of machine tools based on the automation level, then fully automatic system means fully automatic machine tools, they can give this all three motions automatic: generatrix, directrix, and auxiliary. All these non-additive processes like this auxiliary motions, they are not participating in quality of workpiece which you are getting from machine tool, but yes, they are the supporting process, right? So if you design machine tool which can give you all these three motions automatically, then that is called as a fully automatic machine tool. Okay, now let us try to understand this generatrix directrix motion by taking example of different machining operations. Let me again give overview. Generatrix means motion which is required for cutting of material, means it causes shearing actually of raw material. Second is directrix motion. Now directrix motion means further the motion required to extend the cutting process, means your feed motion in any machine tool. That feed motion is called as a directrix, and the motion which is causing shear of workpiece material, that is called as a generatrix. So let us try to understand this with some example. For example, turning operation. Then here you can see, here we have longitudinal feed. Now see here, two motions are given on lathe. One is rotation of workpiece and second is movement of this cutting tool. So one is rotation of workpiece and second is longitudinal movement of this single point cutting tool. Then which motion is directrix and which motion is generatrix in turning operation, in longitudinal turning? Then here you can see this, if I don't rotate workpiece, then shearing will not take place. Clear? So that's why this rotation of workpiece by chuck, that is called as a generatrix, because that actually causes shearing. And now I want to further extend this shearing along the longitudinal direction. Then I give feed to single point cutting tool. Then in this direction, if you look here, this capital D direction, that is called as a directrix, because by giving feed motion to single point cutting tool, we extend cutting further on this cylindrical workpiece, right? So in case of longitudinal turning, rotation of workpiece in churn, that is generatrix, and feed motion of carriage or single point cutting tool, that is called as a directrix. So similarly on lathe machine, if you are doing transverse turning, right, then here you can see again rotation of workpiece, that is called as a generatrix, because due to the rotation of workpiece, that workpiece move against single point cutting tool and single point cutting tool that remove material, right? So again rotation of chuck in transverse turning is called as a generatrix. So that's why here it is shown generatrix. And directrix means now we are talking about transverse feed. So if you give feed motion towards uh, towards workpiece in transverse direction to workpiece axis, perpendicular to the workpiece axis, then this D, that is what called as a directrix, because due to that we get reduction in the diameter of workpiece. Here we get reduction of diameter in workpiece by removing material along the length, and here we are getting reduction in diameter by removing material towards the diameter, towards the radial direction of cylindrical workpiece. Okay, so I hope it is clear what is generatrix and directrix in turning operation in both longitudinal turning as well as transverse turning. Now second operation is drilling operation. So if you look here in drilling operation, this is the demonstration of drilling operation. So here again, this is a workpiece. Now in case of drilling operation, we are not causing or we are not giving any movement to the workpiece. Workpiece remain static. That remains steady. That is fixed on the work bench, workstation, right? And now we cause rotation of drilling spindle, this drill bit. So this rotation cause rotation of these fluids, so that fluids insert, and that will cause removal of material, that cause shearing of material, right? So again rotation of spindle or rotation of drill bit, that is called as a generatrix. In this diagram you can clearly see this peripheral motion of drill bit, that is called as the generatrix. And now we want to extend, now we want to get hole up to certain depth, then we need to insert drill bits along the axis of hole. So that's why this direction, capital D direction, which is feed direction, so that's why here it is written feed motion. So feed motion, that is directrix. So in this case, in drilling operation, your object, your workpiece remains fixed, and both directrix and generatrix motions are given to only drill bit. So directrix is given uh, by straight downward movement to the spindle, and generatrix is given by rotation of spindle, rotation of this drill bit, right? So again, this is generatrix and directrix in drilling. In case of milling, if you look, this is multi point cutting tool in milling operation. So this is front and this is side view. Now here you can clearly see I want to produce flat surface, and then I rotate this multi point cutting tool then this rotation is causing shearing. You can see this shearing curves. Then this rotation of milling tool, that is called as a generatrix, and I want a flat surface. Then I extend, I move this multi-point cutting tool along the length. Then this direction, that is called as a directrix. This motion is called as a directrix motion. Okay, so this is front and this is side view of same. So in case of milling, you give generatrix and directrix. You give generatrix on arbor rotation, and directrix you get by moving the work table, because your object, your workpiece is fixed on work table, right? So again, in case of milling, generatrix is given to spindle and directrix is given to work table. In case of shaping, planing and slotting, so here you can see now, this is for shaping tool. So this is your workpiece. And now in case of shaper, again shaper is used to produce flat surfaces. So here you can see, I want cutting action. Then cutting action is only possible if I push this cutting tool along this G direction. Then and then only cutting take place. That's why this tool movement, this reciprocating tool movement of a shaping machine, that is called as a generatrix. And I want flat surface along this width. Then movement of again table, because your workpiece is fixed on table. So intermittent motion is given to table. Once one slot is created, then after table work table that move in transverse direction by one step, and again this tool cut material. Clear? So intermittent motion of table, that is called as a directrix. Because of that motion only we can extend cutting action from this edge to this second extreme edge. Clear? So in case of shaping, cutting tool motion, that is generatrix, and work table motion, that is directrix. But this is not the right for planing machine, because in planer what happened, your tool remains fixed, and you move your table, your workpiece table. Yeah. So in that case, workpiece table, that is generatrix, and uh, as you move this tool along the transverse direction, then that is called as a directrix. So opposite motions, generatrix and directrix, in case of shaper machine and planer machine, right? Now I would like to know from your side, in case of grinding, which one is generatrix and which one is direction? Can you please write in the chat box? Please make session somehow interactive. Please try to identify generatrix and directrix motion in grinding. In case of grinding, generatrix and directrix motions. So you have seen this all generatrix and directrix motion in different machining operations. Now machine tool drives. What are the machine tool drives? So it is combination of the mechanisms that transmit motion from an external source to the operative element of machine tools. In previous slide we have seen different motions like generatrix motion, directrix motion, and auxiliary motions. So these motions actually we need to provide to different operative elements of machine tool. For example, in most of the cases, generatrix motion is the spindle motion, right? So how to transfer get spindle motion from some motion source. Similarly, how to get a feed motion from some motion source. So that is with the help of some mechanisms. So those mechanisms, they are called as the drives, different drives, right? So machine tool consists basically two drives. One is external motor and second a transmission system. Because if you see in each and every machine, you get your prime mover is generally motor, electric motor, right? So motor is the main source. Now from that motor, you need to transmit different motions to different operative element of machine 2. So that is done by transmission system. Now this transmission system can be a mechanical transmission system, pneumatic transmission system, hydraulic transmission system, or even direct electric transmission system. For example, if you are using solenoids, clear? Then using solenoid you can get electric transmission system, right? So here, what is transmission system? So these are the devices by which motion and power are carried to the operative elements for producing generatrix, dielectrics, or auxiliary motion. Generally, as I told, that motor is the main prime mover in any machine tool. Then main source of power, main source of motion, that is electric motor, and electric motor generally gives the rotational motion. So transmission elements connects input to output and provide two principal motions at output. We want two principal motions, rotary, translatory, as well as we want intermittent motion as an output motion. For example, if you are talking about auto feed in lathe machines, if you talk about auto feed in lathe machine, right? Then say single motor is rotating spindle, as well as same motor is also giving power for feed motion of carriage, auto feed motion of the carriage. Yeah. So here same prime mover, same source of energy, main source, that is electric motor, which is giving rotational motion, that is transferred to machine tool at two different operative element. One operative element is spindle, where we want rotation motion, and second operative element is your carriage, where you want longitudinal feed. Yeah. So rotation of motor, they are transmitted to chuck to get a rotation, and transmitted to get a longitudinal feed on carriage. So that is translation motion. So normally at input, as I told you, rotary motion is available because electric motor is the main prime mover in any machine tool. And what we want as a output motion, then we want rotary motion. RR means rotary to rotary motion, rotary to translatory motion, and rotary to periodic or intermittent motion. Like intermittent motion you get in shaper machine, right? Where you give intermittent motion to the workpiece table. That is what the directrix in shaper. Clear? So as an output, we want these three prime motions in machine tool: rotary, translatory, and periodic and intermittent motion. But the main source that is giving you only rotation motion. So we required some drives which can give this conversion. You already learned this type of drives in your basic machine design courses. So those will recall in today's session. Transmission take place through mechanical elements, as I told you. So transmission system can be a mechanical, hydraulic, or electric. Yeah. So these three mainly will touch on mechanical elements, mechanical transmission systems, and hydraulics and pneumatic transmission systems. You will not go to electric transmission systems. But as I told you, you can take solenoid as a one transmission system, which is electric transmission system, right? So in mechanical transmission system, the important parameter is transmission ratio. Now what is transmission ratio? That is output speed to the input speed. Means, for example, if I'm talking about chuck rotation, then chuck rotation, RPM of chuck, that is output divided by input means what is the input? Input is available from uh, electrical motor. So motor is running at constant RPM. So that is your input, and you get different speeds on chuck. That is called as the output. And to get those different speeds, you go for gearbox, step gearbox. So that we are going to discuss in this course, design of gearbox based on geometric progression series. So transmission ratio is very much important because that is ratio speed ratio between output uh, operative element to the input operative element. Now we'll see transmission ratio for different mechanical transmission systems, which is RR first of all, rotary to rotary. So to get rotary to rotary motion transmission, we generally use gear as a positive drive. So we can go for three different gear drives for rotary to rotary motion transmission: spur, bevel, worm, and worm wheel. So first of all, in case and the second is build transmission, open build and cross build transmission. So first we go for spur gear. In case of spur gear, if you see the velocity, the tangential velocity of both the gear wheels, gear as well as pinion in spur gear drive, that is same. So we can equate. It's a basic equation. Uh, v v output divided by is equals to speed input, right? So that peripheral speed of both the gears, that is same, that is as per the gear law. So and if we convert that, then we get pi dn. V is equals to the tangential speed is equals to pi dn, right? So both are the spur gears. So pi d0 uh, DONO, it's an output gear speed, and pi dn and suffix I, that indicates input gear speed. Now here uh, we replace this diameter by module and number of teeth on output gear. So here MZ0, M is module and Z is total number of teeth on output gear. Similarly, module module should be same for gear engagement. That's why both the gears are having same module, so same M. But now here zi stands for total number of teeth on input gear. So now if you want to find transmission ratio, then U is the abbreviation for transmission ratio. In our course we will be using this. So U is equals to N0 by Ni, then is equals to Zi by Z0. So simply we can say transmission ratio of any gear drive that depends on total number of teeth present on gears, on both the gears. So this is transmission ratio for spur. Similarly, I leave up to you to find out bevel transmission ratio. Now, worm and worm wheel transmission ratio. So in case of worm and worm wheel, what we are having as an input, we are having one screw, and as an output, we are having gear wheel, right? So here again, both are having same speed, linear speed of both is same. So that is equated here. So linear speed is converted in rotational speed of worm wheel, then pi DONO, that is for worm wheel. Similarly, now here if you look, this P is a pitch of screw which is used as a worm. So P is a pitch. K stands for number of starts on that worm. So generally, if it's a single start worm, then we take K is equals to 1. If it is multi-start like 2 or 3, 2 start or 3 start worm, then we use here K as 2 and 3 respectively. And here this Ni stands for rotational speed of worm, right? So both are equated here, both because whenever meshing takes place, at the meshing point, both are having same tangential velocity. So that's why pi DONO is for worm wheel and NIKP, that is for worm. Now again we are replacing m and z in place of d. So here NIKP. Now again transmission ratio is NO by NI. So we take NO by NI ratio, then cross multiplication, then we get here KP divided by pi n Z0. Now here the basic understanding is for the meshing between any gears, what you require, you, uh, you should have here the pitch. Here the pitch of worm should be equals to circular pitch of worm wheel. So that's why if you look here, this pi m is the circular pitch of worm wheel, and this p is the pitch of worm. Then we need to keep both as the same. That's why it is cancel out here. Here p and pi n both are same, so they are cancel out, and finally we get transmission ratio between worm and worm wheel is k by z0. Now these two will define what will be the increase in speed or what will be the decrease in speed on the worm wheel. Generally, worm and worm wheel drive is used for speed reduction, and most of the gear drives in gearbox they are used for speed reductions, right? So that is what the transmission ratio, how we got transmission ratio of worm and worm wheel. I leave on you to find out transmission ratio of open build and cross build drive. It is very simple as such. As pi u is equals to n0 by ni is equals to that speed ratio of build drive that directly depends on diameter of both the pulleys, right? So here you get n0 by ni is equals to di by d0 cross diameters, right, in case of bear drive. So that is about our transmission, mechanical transmission. We are talking about mechanical transmission right now. Now RT transmission means rotation to translatory motion. The very well known is the slider crank mechanism, single slider crank mechanism, then crank rocker mechanism, nut and screw mechanism, rack and pinion. So these are the common mechanical transmission system which can give you conversion from rotary to translator motion. So first, slider crank mechanism. Then simple relation is what? If you know R crank radius, then you can find out what is the stroke of slider, right? And if you know RPM of that crank, then within that RPM that will travel L much of distance. So if you find out 2r omega, then that would be the velocity. That will be the velocity of slider, right? I uh, keep this crank rocker mechanism for you. Just find out RT transmission ratio for crank rocker drive. Now next is nut and screw. So to understand that nut and screw, here you can see this picture is indicating this is one screw which is rotating with speed n, small n. And then after we have one nut. This nut is fixed on longitudinal guide, and then here we are having suppose carriage. For example, if you take lead longitudinal feet, then this can be a lead screw, and this is your carriage of single point cutting tool, right? So what is the relation between speed of lead screw and speed of carriage? It's as simple as we know pitch per revolution. The screw for one revolution of screw, this platform that will travel distance equals to p. Now if I know RPM, then I can find out what is the translation of this carriage per unit time per minute. Clear? So p into n, that will give the translation. Speed is the longitudinal speed of carriage,
Yes, sir.
and k stands for again
Sir, sorry to
the number of stars.
from your end. Excuse me, sir. You are not audible.
So in case of rack and pinion, uh, meshing is only possible if the module is same in any gear drive. Then we can say translatory motion of rack is equals to pi m z n I, where n is rpm of pinion, z is total number of teeth present on pinion, m is the module of that pinion, as well as module of rack. So this is what the transmission between rack and pinion we can say. In case of intermittent and periodic motion, we can we can go for ratchet and poe mechanism as well as Geneva mechanism. These are the two popular mechanisms which are used in different machine tools. Let me first of all show you Scotch York mechanism. Are you getting proper audio? So this is RT conversion actually. It's not an intermittent, it's a RT conversion. The rotation of this we are getting as a translation, right? I hope video is visible to all of you. Similarly, now intermittent motion. Now we are talking about intermittent motion using ratchet and poe. So what you will be having, you get continuous rotation of this magenta color wheel, and due to this poe and ratchet, you get intermittent motion on the ratchet. Generally, this mechanism is used in milling machines for intermittent motion of milling table. So let's see it. So here this magenta wheel that is giving you continuous motion, but at the end, so this is your input, and at the output on this blue ratchet wheel you get intermittent motion. So I hope it is clear. Now this is about Geneva mechanism. You might have learned this in your kinematic course. So here we have total 4 slots, total 6 slots. So in each revolution of this wheel, we get 360 by 6, means 60-degree rotation of this output Geneva wheel. So in every rotation of this continuous wheel, we get 60-degree rotation of this Geneva wheel, because it is having total 6 slots. Now I wanted to ask one question. What is the purpose of this step wheel, and why this type of cut sections are given? If we don't provide this type of step wheel, and if we don't provide this type of cut sections on Geneva wheel, then what will be the issue? Will you please revert in the chat box? I got 2 responses, 3 response, all 3 are correct. Yeah. Okay, save material. Please give your views so that I can address it proper. Like I got a few responses. If I call those responses, then proper alignment for pin to go into the slot. This is one. For precise motion, this is second. To prevent reverse motion, to attain smoothness, save material, zero error movement. What I would see, most of you have given correct answer as per my knowledge, because any mechanical system that is having inertia, right? So whenever in case of Geneva drive, if you look here, in case of Geneva, if this pin go outside and if this type of slot and solid portion is not given, then due to the inertia of this Geneva wheel, this wheel will go further and will not get a position where this pin can get inserted in the next slot. So it is correct to get a smooth motion, to avoid back rotation, as well as to provide a precise position for pin insertion in the slot. So it's correct because of this cut and this type of solid portion. This will cause this will to stay there without any further rotation. So it's correct. In case of material saving, what I would like to say, it is not a material saving. The reason is, to get this type of Geneva wheel, I first required a circular blank, a complete disc, and from there I need to remove this material. So that work as a scrap actually. So if not, we cannot say it's a fully material saving, right? Now I move further. Then shaper table feed mechanism. So this mechanism is generally used in the shaper table, which is again ratchet and four mechanism inspired. So that you can see here. This wheel is continuously rotating. So this wheel is getting feed from the motor, and then because on backside we have ratchet and four drive, and due to that this table rotates intermittently, not continuously. So this mechanism is used in shaper machine for intermittent motion. It's a ratchet and four mechanism, right? Now, last topic of today's discussion: general requirement of machine tool design. What we need to consider when we start design of machine tool. Very first is high productivity, means the machine tool. These are the actually specification of any machine tool. Machine tools should give high productivity, accuracy. We are more concerned about the accuracy of manufactured component from machine tool, and that's why we actually design machine tool components based on the rigidity criteria, so that due to the cutting forces, let less amount of deflection take place in all the components of machine tool. Simplicity in design, right? Safety and convenience of control. This is the ergonomics actually, which is kept as a self-study portion for all of you. A few topics which are very important as per the machine tool design, that those topics are only considered as a self-study portion, and they are also available on our course website. From there you can refer self-study topics. So safety and convenience of control, that is very much essential. That's why if you see in CNC machines, they are providing shielding, means you have a glass shield, so that the chip material will not come out during the machining, right? So that is the purpose. So we are more concerned about safety and precautions, good appearance, pleasing appearance. So if you see nowadays, the CNC machines or the VMCs, they they have good appearance compared to the traditional lathe machines. So we are now more concerned about aesthetic of machine also. Low manufacturing cost. So this low manufacturing cost is highly dependent on your material selection for machine tool. So that's it from today's session. Now forum is open for all of you. If you want to discuss